questions right here at HomeShowRadio.com. And today Mike has a question about attic insulation and his options.
Yeah, he has a house, Tom, that's built in the 30s. They added on to it in the 50s. And Mike writes to us, it's a Cape Cod style house with hardly any overhang. You know the kind I'm talking about. So there's no room for any kind of soffit vents. Our electric bill was cut in half once I added fiberglass insulation on top of, blown in on top of the non-fiberglass insulation. So my question is, I want to add a radiant barrier, but we only have the old-fashioned whirligig air vents on the roof. I've heard of the multi-layered Energy Q radiant barrier that you lay down on the floor of the attic. I've also heard of the aluminum foil that you staple to the rafters. And finally, I've heard of the aluminum reflective paint that you spray onto the underside of the decking. This guy's done his homework, all right?
He's heard too much.
Right, he's heard too much. Yeah. He says, do I need to add some more vents or vent fans to the attic in the eaves to help it out? Tom, Mike wants to know which one of these you would recommend.
Break it down three ways. You have insulation, you have radiant barrier, and you've got attic ventilation. Each one has a different job. You don't need one to make the other work. Just make that real clear. Radiant barrier is a must. Keep it easy on yourself. On an existing home, I probably would just go ahead and have the heat block sprayed up there and call it a day. Get it done quickly and inexpensively. Don't get into all the fancy ones, and never lay radiant barrier on the floor of the attic.
Yeah, that's just going to make it stop working.
It just gets working. Yeah, it just should never be done that way. And I'm surprised to hear about anybody even considering it. A few years ago, they tried to push it, but it's kind of gone to the wayside. People got smart enough to realize that's not the way it works. Now, as far as your insulation goes, you should have about 14 to 16 inches of insulation product on the floor of the attic. And so you can just take a tape measure and measure to see what you have. Obviously, you have a combination, that's fine. If you're going to add more, I'm a fiberglass guy, formaldehyde-free fiberglass. If you want to dress it up across the top, I would just have it blown in, and that's inexpensive and quick too. As far as your ventilators go, first off, never use fans, never use anything that needs electricity to run it. The solar fans are fun little gizmos, but we could do a lot more with solar collectors and run little fans like your beanie on top of your head.
You could power your little helicopters with it or something,
exactly.
Right?
Something better than that. Lighting, fans in the house, like ceiling fans, that kind of thing. And it's happening, by the way. But attic ventilation should be passive. You should let the cool air come in the bottom. The hot air with the water vapor go out the top. Ridge vents, soffit vents, always preferable. But if you don't have a lot of ventilation stuff on your roof right now, your roof is old, wait till you put a new roof on, then you can reconfigure that. So start with a radiant barrier, then dress up the insulation on the floor of the attic, and then when the time the roof needs to be replaced, or if it's a new roof and you want to go with ridge vents, soffit vents, have it installed. And that was a mouthful.
It sure was. Yes. Do you have a question? Tom has a meaty answer for you too. Go ahead and send it to us here. Click on the Ask Tom tab. We'll either answer it on the website or here on our with our videos, or on Sunday morning on Early Edition. Starts Sundays at 8 o'clock. Of course, you can always get your questions answered with Tom on Saturday and Sundays live on Sports Radio 610.